Sunderland ties 0-0 in a very joyful 0-0. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get straight into it because I believe Sunderland were the better team throughout the whole 90 minutes. I think Sunderland had more chances. I think Sunderland were genuinely the better team, right? I'll talk about Brian in a bit because around the 70th minute, Brian started creating chances. You know what I mean? Toma came in. They had multiple chances coming off. Ayari had 3 or 4 shots where he should have hit the goal and should have maybe scored one of them. Ayari had multiple chances. But throughout the whole game, I thought Sunderland were the better team. I genuinely thought that Sunderland, even with less possession, even with, having the ball less, they were still very attacking. And that's talking even with the players they're missing. They're missing Taubi, Reinildo, Siddiqui. These are 3 of their most important players. They're missing other players like Traore and other players, right? But these 3, Sadiki, Taubi, and Reinildo, I think are some of their most important players. Reinildo and Mukele on the as the fullbacks has been probably some of their best players this season, if not the best players for them this season. They still have Lefebvre, who I think had a very good game. I really like him. He's very good on the ball. He moves around very well. He knows what he's doing, and I think he was just I think the performance as a team was very good. I got to give a big shout out to the manager. A player that I thought was outstanding today was Aldrete. I know he's been good. Alderete, I know he's been very good throughout the whole season, but I think today the amount of balls he won, the amount of duels he won, the amount of his playing out the back, I was impressed by it. I wasn't too familiar with his playing out the back, but he would win the ball at the halfway line and do a good line breaking pass between the the press, and he would find the midfield. He would find the wide players, and I think Alderete was very good today. I think he was amazing. Like I said, he won everything in the air. He won everything when it came to the one-on-ones, and I think he was outstanding today. We know how good he is with in aerially, but even on the ball, like I said, I was very impressed. I think Mukiele, this guy isn't just amazing in some games. He's consistently very, very good. I think Mukiele, like I said, he was my honorable mention last week. And I think this week, he gets an honorable mention because facing Mitoma, facing these Brian like electric wingers, it's hard, right? And Mitoma did get the better of him in the last 20 minutes when he came on, right? Mitoma did get the better of him in moments, but let's be honest, Mitoma only beat him like 2 times out of multiple times, right? And it was like little triangles, right? Mitoma passed the ball, and that's what Mitoma is very good at. He's very good at connecting with players, passing, moving. And yes, he did beat Mukele a couple, like 2 times, right? And they were very dangerous chances. I understand. But throughout the whole 90 minutes, I think Mukele was class. I think he was amazing. I think he was very explosive in defense and in the attack. I think Mukele is one of their outlets when it comes to in that right side attack. And like I said, they're missing important players. And I think for him to step up still, even with the missing players, there's a lot of teams that when they miss a couple players, they start the excuses that this player's not playing good enough because this player's not there. Like one of the examples, right, was Saka when Ben White was injured, right? Saka would play bad. Arsenal fans would be, oh, it's because Ben White's injured, or it's because this, right? This guy Mukiele and even Lefebvre, they're missing 4 of their starters, right? 3 of the 4 players that they always play with, but they're still putting up very good performances, right? You could say that Alderete would drop his level because he doesn't have Reinildo next to him at the left back. But even then, Alderete puts in a good performance, and I give amazing props to the manager because the way he has him playing isn't just a form thing, right? I said it in the videos a couple times back, but form is one of those things where you expect the player to drop off. Form is one of those things where you expect the manager to lose a couple of players and lose the momentum, right? But the way the manager has Sunderland playing, it's not just about form. It's about the system. It's about how dedicated the players are. It's about Granit Xhaka, who's been amazing. He controls the tempo of the game. He controls the midfield defensively and the attack. He's very dangerous in the air. And Granit Xhaka is the captain, the leader in the midfield, and even when it comes to playing out the back, he's one of the best players in the league, I would say, when it comes to playing out the back. There's a reason that Arteta loved him when he was at Arsenal. There's a reason Xabi Alonso loved him when he was the captain of Leverkusen. There's a reason for all of this, right? Granit Xhaka isn't no scrub, or he's old, but it doesn't mean he lost everything, his whole technique, his way of playing, his way of being a captain. And I think that's something that some of these relegated teams miss, right? Leeds right now has Calvert-Lewin, who comes in and he was pretty bad a couple of games, but he's now being the leader of that Leeds attack. He's now being the guy and scoring goals for Leeds. So these are things that relegated teams miss, and I think that's one of the reasons why these relegated teams are doing so well this season, because they have these players, these experienced players, these leaders. Xhaka has Sunderland has Xhaka, Granit Xhaka. They have Reinildo, who's a leader, who played at Atletico Madrid, Mukiele, who played at PSG. Then you look at Leeds, who's doing all right for how I thought they would do. They have Calvert-Lewin banging, who's always in the right positions but never scores. Calvert-Lewin is always there, but he just never scored. But now for Leeds, he's doing it, and that's one of the reasons they might make it out. Because Wolves is going down. West Ham is pretty bad. They might as well go down. And I think the two set teams to go down, like I said, Wolves and Burnley. And you never know. Leeds could pull it off and West Ham go down. You never know. Fulham, I think, are too good to be down. I would say West Ham is probably the next candidate up from Burnley, Leeds, and between these teams, right? But Sunderland, going back to Sunderland, I think they've been amazing. Like I said, they've missed 4 or 5 players to AFCON, and they're still doing well against a Brighton team who Brighton is a very dangerous team, right? But I think their teams have figured out how to play against them. Like I said, they are a possession-based team. So when it comes to counter-attacking, Sunderland is very good at that. Man United took care of that. And they could Sunderland could truly make like a conference league position if they keep this up. Because after this AFCON, I think they might get a couple of players back right away, depending on how it looks. But let's be honest, they won't get Talbi until the end of AFCON, I believe, because I think Morocco are pretty much favorites. Reinildo might come back pretty quickly. I think his national team is in a pretty tough spot when it comes to the teams they're facing. But man, Sunderland, I think this is if they get Conference League this season, if they get any of those positions, I think it's going to be one of the best stories of the season, right? Because you have Leeds maybe surviving, you have Wolves maybe going down, you have United come back maybe in the seventh, eighth position. But if Leeds get like a seventh or eighth place, I think that would be amazing for them. And once again, Brian did have multiple chances. Ayari had 3 to 4 chances to score on goal. He had, I believe, 2 or 3 of them went flying out of the stadium. They weren't even nowhere near the goal. But it was a very good game, very good 0-0. Very, it was more exciting than the Tottenham Liverpool game that ended 2-0, I would say. So I think that says a lot when it comes to how fun these like mid-table teams are when it comes to when they play each other. And yeah, I think Sunderland could make a run for Conference League. I think they can make a run. They might even sign a couple players in January to strengthen their team and strengthen this. If you see your manager doing this well with the players he has, I think they probably back him more in January. So let's see how it goes. Sunderland 0-0 versus Brighton. Very good game to watch. Let's see where this takes them.